So we have Lost Skies, and this is an early access title on Steam. This is an open world survival craft adventure game, and a massive thank you to Kyle who dropped me a key to play this game. So what happens in this game is you start off and you are taught some very, very basic things. You have to pretty much go outside, gather your first materials, craft some items including a glider so that you can make it from one island to another. This entire game is going to be based in the sky, but they've done it really, they've developed it in such a smart way, because it's not just jumping from a higher island to go to a lower one and gliding. You will eventually unlock a grappling hook, and that gives you the ability to use these floating rocks to make it from one island to another. And I mean, it's such a fluid mechanic in the game. You kind of feel like Spider-Man. You attach to a rock, swing with a grappling hook, detach it, attach it to another rock, and you can do it in a very, the momentum is incredibly smooth. But you have to go around these islands, you have to explore, go into caves, you need to find a bunch of materials to complete all of the quests. It's going to have you finding different enemies. It's going to have you completing puzzles to get these disc things that are going to unlock research, because you have to use something called an Arc computer to expand your tech that you can use. And it's a nice chill game at the start. You're not going to have too much combat. The puzzles are quite light, and I'm going to say they've been generous with the inventory space. You can hold a lot of stuff, so you don't need to worry about storage and everything like that early on. But you're eventually going to get to a quest where you have to make your first ship. Because this isn't just about sticking on the island you start on, you have to create yourself a ship that you can fly from island to island with. And I'm going to say, for me personally, when I got to creating my first ship, that's when the game got boring. Being able to fly a ship from island to island is one of the key selling points of this game, and I feel it's one of the most tedious, least exciting thing you can actually do. They have a bunch of blueprints for the ship so you can make your own, and at that stage you're going to have a saw and a hammer so that you can get wood and oars. So what you do is you make enough progress on the first island so that you can build your ship. Once you've got your ship, you're going to fly to other islands. And the reason I say it's boring at that point is because the mechanics for the ship are, they feel very clunky. The movement's horrible. And not only that, it's an early access game, so it's not entirely free reign. There's only certain islands you can actually go to. And I found that out the hard way, because I found an island out in the distance and I was like, I want to go to that one and explore it. And I don't think it's actually possible to get to that island, because I was moving towards it. I was flying towards it in my ship for a solid 5 or 10 minutes, and I made absolutely no progress. So what I did was eventually turned around, went back to the starting island, found another island and made it to that one. Now that one was accessible. So I got there, I parked up my ship and I went exploring. And what I had to do was find another Arc computer, and it tells you to just go and explore, find other Arc computers to basically synchronize them all, or whatever you're doing. And it's kind of at that stage where I feel the whole game just falls short, because you go to a brand new island, and I was kind of expecting to find a lot of different stuff. But the other island was just kind of samey, and I think they said they've got 3 different types of islands that have different levels of danger and different wildlife and things like that. But this island that I went to had almost the same stuff. Besides, at that point, I needed to use a research station so that I could continue with the quests and carry on. And it was at that stage where it got so tedious, I was just like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And I kind of gave up playing, because a good thing about this game is when you hover over, or like when you look at a material or a resource, it gives you a rough idea of how to obtain it. And 2 resources I needed to get were silica and conductive vessels. Now, silica is found in an area that I don't think was actually on the island I was currently on, and conductive vessels were obtained by killing a manta and using something called a cutting tool on its corpse. And I looked through all of the different structures and stuff that I had available, and I just could not find a way to get my hands on the cutting tool. So there were probably other materials and stuff that I needed that weren't actually available to get my hands on the island I was on. on, so it would have meant getting back onto my ship and flying to another island. And again, that would have been a lot of time travelling through the skies for absolutely nothing, because I could have made it to Island 2, it could have been exactly the same. And that could have taken me 10, 15, 20 minutes to get to. And I mean, this game does have online co-op, so you can do it with your friends. And I was playing solo, so that might also play in as a factor as to why I got so bored. But I've also looked through the reviews on this one, and granted it's early access, the devs do need to continue with the development of the game. If I remember correctly, they're slating a Q3 2025 release, so not actually too far away from the 1.0, which would signal that they've got almost everything fully completed in terms of development. But in the reviews I've seen a lot of people complaining about going to another island, parking up their ship, going to explore, and when they come back, their ship has been destroyed, it just becomes a ball of scraps. And I mean, you can go to a shipyard and you can, I believe you can essentially respawn your ship, but you would have to have a shipyard placed on the island you're on. So it's either you go and get all the materials to make another shipyard on the island you're on, or you just don't have access to a ship anymore. And not only that, I noticed on the second island that I was on, the game's performance started suffering. I had a full-on lock-up in a cave, there was maybe 3 or 4 beetles in there with me. I thought my game had entirely crashed, but people are also complaining about crashes as well. So to answer the question, is Lost Skies worth buying? I'm going to say not right now. And the good thing is, these developers currently do not have any plans to increase the price. So this isn't a game I would say grab now so that you're saving money in the long run. This is a game I am going to say wait until they have put out some updates, they've maybe polished some things up, and possibly even expanded the game and added more islands and stuff to it. Because overall, this is not a bad game. I had a lot of fun with it, and I mean up until the ship building bit, like the flying around and going to new islands. I thoroughly enjoyed like the beginnings, the first couple of hours or so of the game. But then at the same time as it being fun, there is a lack of content. There are some things that are going to become frustrating, and there are also some issues that need ironing out. So I'm going to say this game, I feel overall, will eventually be worth buying, but right now I would just hold off and see where the developers take it with updates and stuff. And that is my opinion and my thoughts on Lost Skies, and what we're going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this game in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it.